financial institution in Sri Lanka has to follow a common Sharia standard? If no, why? If it is yes, then this standard should be implemented international or local. It should be under one school of thoughts or different thoughts.
A good question. What we believe, all the Islamic institutions in Sri Lanka, being a very small country, and they should follow one standard, and I would prefer the best standard is the IOFI standard, so that there will be no ambiguity from the regulator's point of view, and from the practitioner's point of view, and from the customer's point of view. Our deen is wasi'. Our deen is very broad. Allah has made the deen to stand alone at any time and age, mashallah. But the best is to avoid confusion, disturbance, and etc. Better to follow one system. Like Unzil al-Quran ala sab'ati ahruf. Quran is revealed. There are so many commentaries to this hadith, but Quran is revealed in 7 ways, 7 methods. People could read the Quran, the most accepted ways of reading. When Uthman radiallahu anhu, at his khilafah, when that difference came amongst the Muslims, one was saying your reading is wrong, and others saying no, your reading is correct, and when that difference of opinion came, Uthman radiallahu anhu compiled the Quran in one method accepted by the Islamic world and scholars at large. Okay, we will have local issues, even that. All these players, Islamic banking players, could sit together and unanimously agree upon. By looking at the future of Islamic banking industry in Sri Lanka, and not to put a confusion and disagreement or disturbance amongst the hearts or minds of the majority community who are living here, so that they are confused. Why here there is one system, another place there is another system. The customers are confused. So it is very, even though we know Islam is a very broad system, and it allows many things, but still, I'm not saying that one is correct and the other one is wrong, and all accepted according to difference of opinion from the fuqaha. But since we are living in a world that, especially the banking environment, there is a mix of all races, all religions. We need to promote a healthy system, a standard which is accepted like IOFI, and which will become very good and very helpful, and there will be no confusions and disturbance. As you know, today the field of banking and finance are growing so fast. We as ulama, our main responsibility is to make sure the Muslim Ummah do not consume haram and do not get involved in haram. And the banking system today based not on one school of thinking. They will come from all schools of thinking according to different practices, as long as fuqaha have granted room and permission. So they make sure that difference of opinion are welcome, and today's entire banking system is based IOFI standard is based on more than 4 schools of thinking. So, today the challenge is to make sure the Muslim Ummah deals and consume halal. So, because that market has expanded, opened up, we have to save the Muslim Ummah from haram. So that is the reason that difference of school opinion from different schools are being welcomed, and the entire system is put in place. So that is a system that we see today, and that is what that we all need to come to that understanding on a broader line with regard to Islamic banking world, and we must give our support so that the industry will be protected and the Muslim Ummah will be protected from haram. Ideal, I think it is the time for central bank of this country to come up with an official Sharia board who will be supervising and overseeing all the boards. Like the Bank Negara in Malaysia has its own Sharia board. But every institution must have their own Sharia board. This is the standard world law. And the main Sharia board, they will lay down the standards from the central bank, and the Sharia boards which are serving in individual institutions, they should make sure that it operates in a very, that they implement the standard what had been given by the central Sharia board. That is the best way that you can manage and govern, like today the banking system, conventional banking system, which had been laid down by the central bank, and it has to be governed, and which had been laid down, it has to be carried out by all the banking institutions in the country. Yeah. It is time up to come up with a Islamic banking division, I would say, or a department to take care of the Islamic banking institution, so that runs according to the standards provided in our Sharia, and it is being overseen by a senior group of scholars with all the institutions, can have their own bodies, and they will be governed by the superior body. ACJU, I would say, it has, with regard to Islamic banking and activities, it has a department. ACJU has taken a very strong position in this, that it will not be part of any institution. It will only be a regulator, like the IOFI. Today the IOFI also, a company that comes as a regulator. At the moment it encourages every institution to have their own respective Sharia board and continue this. Most of the banks, other than Amana, a standalone Islamic institution. All others are a window or a branch of a giant conventional institution. So they have their governance given, directions and standards to follow. And as long as they do that, whether we study the industry, we study Islamic banking, or we are practitioners, or we are stakeholders, depositors, investors, whatever, we are customers, we should have that Islamic spirit. Numbers are not great. End of the day, especially the Muslims who are in the industry, they have a broader goal rather than a very confined and a very short goal. They have a broad goal. Allah inna sil'at Allahi al-ghaliya hiya al-jannah. The greatest gain that we should get is Jannah, and to get there that our economic activities should be within the boundary of Sharia, and we should fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today, a person, especially in a murabaha transaction, he could just sign off all the documents in one sitting and just walk out. Even he can sign offer acceptance before he receives the goods, or before he, get the goods, or before even a before he goes and as a wakil buy the goods, he can still sign the acceptance and take the money and walk out. Even in a Sharia audit, it will become very cumbersome to find out whether there was a Sharia violation. So what will prevent him? That spirit of taqwa, that spirit of Islam. We know that because we audit so many institutions, and at times we see that violations have taken place because of petty gains. He overlooked the Jannah, what is being promised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we need to have a broader perspective. Look, people in China understood Islam. People in many parts of the world, Indonesia understood Islam and entered, and they welcomed Islam by practice of trade and economics. By promoting trade and economics, people understood Islam. So when we do things right within the boundary of Sharia, we will get our dunya also in this world. We will get our monetary gain also. And in the meantime, the Jannah, what is promised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So from the teacher to the student, the banker, the practitioner, the customer should have that conscious of Islam and spirit of Islam in them when they come to an institution, when they deal with the institution, so that the system will be preserved and we will understand the broadness of the teaching of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the jewels of the Quran which we were reading every day, and we will understand, subhanallah, Quran has spoken so much. Today the world speaks about being very professional. Where do they get these things? Quran is speaking. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha tadayantum bidaynin fattaqu. The documentation is spoken in the Quran. To follow a system is spoken in the Quran. So we need to bring them. And whatever we have, we use all of them. Our skills, our strength, our ability to make the world understand the beauty of His system will be loved by the entire world is suffering because of interest-based system. So we have to promote the goodness of Islam, and these are the real teachings of Islam. Islam thought about every individual. This interest system make the rich richer, poor poor. This gap is growing day by day. Countries who boast themselves as the largest, fastest growing economy in the world, like China, they flush their own child through the gutters because fearing of economic responsibilities towards the child. Countries who boast with second largest or fastest growing economy in the world, India, go and see the state. You will see gullies and streets after streets, there are people suffering. Every year people are dying in cold weather, or because they're sleeping under the heat of the sun. So why? What is this fastest growing economy if there is no balance in economic condition with regard to people? So we understand very clearly, yes, they are the second fastest growing economic system which make the rich richer and poor poorer day by day. So we have to take back the teachings of Islam, where Rasulullah brought people with skill and people with affluence, put them together and promoted the economic system, and it came the time of Umar bin Abdul Aziz, rahimahullah, that they found they were looking for people who could receive charity, but there was nobody to receive charity because there was such a balanced situation